I'm Laura Lant with Midwest Grass Forage, and today we're going to talk about some of the benefits of putting cover crops on your operation.
I'm Chase Brown, Macon County farmer, as well as a cover crop seed dealer.
So one of my favorite benefits, because it's so obvious that cover crops can bring to an operation, is the weed suppression. It's usually one of the first things that farmers are able to see and to be able to tell that cover crops are working. So lots of different cover crop species out there, and not one single species can do everything. So it's important to work with a trusted advisor to determine first what your goals are and what you're looking at from the cover crop or wanting to get out of it. And then we can fine tune the recommendation for you. So on weed suppression, one of the best options is going to be cereal rye, but there's several other options such as radish, turnips, oats, crimson clover, that are good benefits at suppressing the weeds also.
I think one of my favorite benefits of cover crops is we all know that soil is a living, breathing thing. There's a ton of stuff going on below the ground. And the reason we have such productive soils here in Illinois is because of the native prairies and the diversity that those native prairies had. So I think one of the biggest benefits and things that I like that it's hard to put a number on and quantify it, but is diversity and feeding those microbes below the ground that are being beneficial to our cash crop. We got to feed and take care of those, because those are the millions and millions of workers that are making our cash crop so productive here.
To tie back into that, along with improving general soil health, cover crops can help to reduce your fertilizer inputs. They can save money, they can save the amount you're putting out there. So one of my favorite cover crop options is to put a legume in the mix. So anytime we can put a legume in the mix and allow that product to fix some nitrogen for us, it allows us to reduce the amount of nitrogen that we have to put on for future crops. Lots of species in the legume family can produce anywhere from 50 to 150 pounds of nitrogen when allowed to go to full maturity. So things like that can save $50 to $70 an acre once you have some experience with them and generate a level of success.
In cover crops, it's so tough to see results in 1 year. Oftentimes it takes many, many years, but I think one thing that we can see year one is erosion control. As farmland values in Illinois continue just to climb and soar, and it appears to be no top end to it and no stopping point, why are we letting that wash down our rivers and streams and wash onto our neighbors? We want to hold that valuable asset we have on our ground and so that it's there for the next year's crop. So by putting a cover crop out, we can hold that soil in place and hold it there and make sure that it's there for next year's cash crop.
So another thing that cover crops can do is they can improve the soil water holding capacity. And on wet years such as 2019, some fields with cover crops were able to be planted and have a commercial crop actually get grown on them, whereas neighboring fields that didn't have cover crops may not have dried out enough in certain areas to be planted. So having extra living roots in the soil helps to create more pore space within the soil so that more water can be absorbed. But it also helps to remove some of that excess water on those wet years so that the soil dries out quicker and we can get back to putting the cash crop in.
Another one I really enjoy is the pest management aspect of it. For every pest we have out there, we have many, many, many beneficials. I think it's 17 beneficials to one pest or something along those lines. It's a lot. And by turning that soil over and keeping it black, we aren't making a habitat for those beneficials. By planting a cover crop, we are feeding and holding it and making a habitat for those beneficial insects, which works into an integrated pest management program. If we build a habitat, we can maybe cut back on some of those pesticides or reduce some of our risk that we're exposing ourselves to some of these various pests that are attacking our cash crops. Let's make a habitat. Let's keep the beneficials here to maybe help reduce the pest load.
One other benefit that cover crops can provide is forage. For those guys who have livestock, being able to extend the grazing season by 30, 60, some years even 90 days can really reduce the amount of hay you have to feed and very quickly put money back into your pocket. For other folks who no longer have livestock, I know there have been some places where guys have worked with neighbors to allow those with livestock to graze their fields and everything. So it really helps to build a complete system and reduce the amount of feed you have to have, as well as improving your soil at the same time.